Hello, everyone. Welcome to the AllBrands show. My name is Jordan, and I'm going to be your host for the show today. But let's start things off with getting to know you guys up in the comments. So drop a comment. Let us know where you're watching from and what you're up to. Let's see. We've got Nilda from Colorado Springs, Debbie in Connecticut, Cindy in Odessa, Texas. Hello, Cindy. Carolyn, hi, looking forward to Julian's Serger presentation. I'm from Baton Rouge. Hi, hello, we are excited as well. Karen from Ohio. Let's see, Barbara Jones. Hello, Barbara Jones. You're always here. We love having you. Can't wait for the surge to start. That's a way to put it, surge. Diane says she is looking forward to this. We have Mary Ann from Florida. Yes, we are glad to have you as well. We have another Ohio and Arizona. You guys are just coming from all over the place today. But before we get started, I wanted to talk a little bit about the promotions that BERNINA is running for this month. So we've got one of them right here. Limited time financing for BERNINA, April 8th to the 19th. You can get 0% interest for 24 months. On a purchase of $999 or more, or you can get 0% interest for 48 months on a purchase of $2,000 or more. And then the next one we have is you can get these free gifts with a purchase of any L8 series serger. So you can get that great Laura Star lift. I've been really wanting the little Laura Star handheld one, the Iggy. That's what I really want. I'm trying to make that happen. Santa Claus, please. And then the next thing, we've got the overlocker suitcase and then the big book of serging that you get thrown in when you purchase an L8 series serger. So next thing that I want to remind you guys about is, don't worry, I didn't forget. We've got that $50 gift card giveaway coming at the end of the show. Just drop hashtag AllBrands in the comments, just like that, hashtag AllBrands, and you can win the AllBrands gift card, $50 just for you to spend however you like at allbrands.com, online or in store. So next thing I want to do is I want to introduce our guest. We have Julian Creates. He's a BERNINA brand ambassador, and I'm going to bring him in now. Hello, Julian.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Could you tell us a little bit about your background there?
Sure. So, well, the physical background or just me, myself?
Both.
Okay. Well, I love my background, so I definitely will start with the background behind me. So, again, my name is Julian. Actually, Julian Collins. Julian Creates just rhymes so well. So that's my moniker online here. And I love color. I love print. I love everything. So I try to make sure that my space where I'm sewing and creating is as bright and positive as I like to be in real life. So from a teddy bear that I created, of course, is behind me this way. And then I love dolls. So I have all of the signature inspiration women from Barbie behind me. So from Susan B. Anthony to Maya Angelou to Rosa Parks to Ella Fitzgerald are all on the wall behind me. And then, of course, the one back there is my Basquiat Barbie as well. And just fun things. So I like to create. I'm not a person who likes just kind of plain and regular. So I always try to make sure that there's some bright color and something that can bring me a lot of inspiration. And hello to everyone in the chat over there. And a little bit about myself. So like many others, I am an Ohioan. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. In my day job, I work in public health. So I try to help people live the healthiest lives possible. And I've been sewing since 2016. I started college actually as a fashion design major. Didn't work out, but I always was still drawn to construction and sewing. So through books and through YouTube, came back to it. Luckily, I have creatives in my family. My grandmothers both sewed, so it was always something that I saw, something that I loved. And once I kind of got started, I really haven't stopped since. So that's a little bit about me.
That is super awesome, Julian. I actually love the dolls in the background. I know some people might be a little freaked out by the dolls because like they have all the scary movies with the dolls come to life.
But they're like in their box, so I'm like, they're caged.
True,
It's
true, true, true.
okay.
Where are they going? They're not going anywhere. They're in their box. You're right. And also, I just want to apologize. We had a little bit of technical difficulties trying to get up on Facebook, but we are good now. So you can rewatch on YouTube to catch the first, I think, 5 minutes or so that we were live, where, the magic of live television, sometimes things don't go the way you think they're going to go. But it just happens to be that way. But Julian, I am going to give you the reins and let you get going. Enough from me. I could talk to a brick
Okay.
wall if you'd let me.
All right. Well, thank you again, everybody, for being here and listening to me today. Especially as we get ready to gear off for Serger Month, or as somebody says, a surge into Serger Month. I think that is very surgers for a lot of people can be intimidating for a little bit. I think that especially when they get into the L8 series. So I have an L860 serger behind me, and I absolutely love it. But there's also the L890 and the L850. I think these are all great sergers that any person, no matter what level they are, can really get to learn and get to use. But especially when it's coming out the box, for a lot of people, they can be a little intimidating. So my plan today is kind of just to talk about some of the projects that I use, to talk about how I got into serging, how I use serging in my everyday life when my sewing, show a few of my projects, and give a technique if anybody wants it. So first, I kind of always have to start off talking about. We always talk about the good stuff. I always have to mention the just kind of some of the stuff we don't ever really want to talk about. So I am ready to admit that I did not always use my serger to its fullest advantage when I first started serging. I think I got a serger maybe within the first year of me starting learning to sew. It was not a Bernina serger. It was, I think, a brother that I got at Goodwill. So, and I was like, oh, I've heard that you need to finish the insides of your seams. Let me just go ahead and get a serger. That's all I used it for. So I did not use it for anything else but to finish my seams. I think it was a 4 thread and it just stayed in 4 thread and I did nothing else with it. Um, and I think I was scared to try anything else. Even for a while there, everything was the same color that I serged in. As of right now, you do see white on the back, but that's usually the color that I'm using the most, especially on some of the knits I've been working with lately. But there are so many different colors and different things and different techniques that you can use that we do not always take advantage of. But sometimes you do need to have those projects that you know will work for you so that you can get good practice before you really start using your serger in earnest and feel confident in that. So I want to show you a few of the projects that I kind of always glean towards or just kind of head towards to use to make sure that I am as confident in my projects as possible. Because I know that I like these projects, I will wear these projects. Even if I mess it up, I know how to fix it. So, of course, behind me, I have all of a pound of clothes and everything like that that I've made. But just to let you know, like the things that I do sew, they usually make their rotation in my wardrobe, so they do get used. One of the first projects that I have found to be like my favorite serger project is something that I literally keep many things cut out of at a lot, like at all times, is polos. I do work in an office environment or even on Zoom. I do sometimes have to look nice from head up. So having a good polo is always something that I find beneficial. And once I found two patterns, I have gone with it. So from the Sinclair Oliver polo, as well as the Wardrobe by Me Draper polo, they have filled my closet. From just a regular short sleeve polo to even one like this, which includes a hood. It's still all the same pattern. The biggest thing that I'm doing here is doing all of like the shoulder seams, your side seams, your arms, all with just your regular overlock. So I'm using usually a 4 thread overlock when I make these. And it is something that when I like to have something to do, I like to sew. Just even in my regular time is I don't always have to have a special project. So I keep a few of these cut out so that I can always have something going under my machine. And these are super easy to make, and I do them in all different colors and patterns and prints and mix and match and stuff like that. So this is one of the projects that I always go to. Another one is a t-shirt. A t-shirt is even easier to get started with. So this is a simplicity t-shirt that have loved making. And one of the great things about this t-shirt is, of course, it has a band at the neck, a band um, at the hem. So there's really not a need for a cover stitch if you do not have one. This is something that you can make on just your serger alone. And even if you wanted to, you can do, I did a double, this is, oh, I did use my cover stitch hem on this one. Some of them I've definitely used a double needle. But this can also be all done on the serger as well. So actually, and I love to answer questions. So please feel free to ask questions as I talk. And that's the easiest way that we can go about this. Somebody asked, "What?"
I said we just got one in. You beat me to it. We've got one from Carolyn. She says this machine holds 5 spools of thread. What is the 5th spool for, and how is it used?
So the one behind me, this one, for most of them, it is a 4 thread that you would be using for your regular main stitches, but it does hold a fifth spool of thread. So that could be used for like a decorative thread that you want to put through your machine to do decorative stitches. I definitely have done some decorative hem finishing using like a 3 thread, and that's where usually I will put a decorative thread in if I am just doing something real quickly. So instead of kind of going for like one of my last spools, I will put it in the middle in that 5th thread spot. Or you can put, depending on the decorative thread, you can put not through your air threader, but through your auxiliary. You can use 2 threads at once if you want to do a special color feature.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It is pretty neat. It's pretty cool.
We've got another question from Jenny, who says, what optional feet are available?
So there are a good number of optional feet, and they are still coming out with more. You have from your cording foot. So if you want to do piping and cording, you can definitely do that. You also have your beading foot. So if you are trying to do a beaded edge, you can use a foot for that. I think I left one of my feet upstairs, the one that I use the most often, which is my blind hem foot. So I know that is something that you normally do not think of your serger being able to do, but these sergers can do a blind hem as well. And that's a great way if you do only have a serger that you can also hem garments, not just knits, but also wovens. So that is definitely an option. And there is a video on how to do that on YouTube. It's called Serger School. I worked with So News Magazine to do those videos. So you can go there to learn all about how to do a blind hem on your serger. But of course, there are other foots. You have your gathering foot and stuff like that. And there are new feet always coming. So especially to help with binding and stuff like that. There are more feet for the L890, which also has the cover stitch feature. But there are a good amount for the L860 and the L850.
Very nice. And we do have a page on our website that is full of Bernina feet. So we definitely go and check that out for sure. And then we've got another one. Debbie says, what were the pattern companies for the polos? I guess she wants to make a few.
So the 2 that I use the most there is Sinclair Patterns. They have the Draper Polo. No, they have the Oliver. The Oliver offers long sleeves, short sleeves, and the hood. And then you also have Wardrobe by Me. So that's Wardrobe by Me. And they have the Draper Polo, which comes in a short sleeve or a long sleeve option.
Awesome. And Carolyn says, what do you mean by auxiliary? That's a good question.
So by auxiliary, it is kind of like it is there in waiting. So it's not something or the auxiliary for where you put your thread through. So there are some loops when you are doing your threading. So actually, can we go to our other camera for a second? And I will show you.
Yeah. I'll add it in here.
Okay.
Ooh.
So let me bring this down here. All right. And this is my honest sewing space. So it's used. And I try to keep it as honest as possible just to let you know that I'm actually a sewer and that is never going to be absolutely pristine and perfect. Yes, real life. But right here,
Real life, that's true.
these are your auxiliary threaders. So instead of going through your air loopers here, you can pull certain decorative threads through this way and then go through your mechanism through your machine. So that is a way for threads that might get stuck in like, just your decorative threads that might be harder to pass through your air thread system. It can easily go through this auxiliary system here and still be able to pass through the machine that way.
Very, very nice. All right, let's see. We got a couple of more, and then we'll just let you get to it. We've got Sherry, who says, will you show the fifth spool being used in decorative stitches?
I can. I definitely can.
We'll
Let me
make it
see.
happen for you, Sherry.
Yeah, I can grab some other thread to be able to do that.
And then last one for right now, we've got Bonita, who asks, does the specialty feet also work on the 460?
So of course there are going to be specific feet for the 460, but there are specialty feet for that one as well, including such as your blind hem foot, your cording foot, your gathering foot, that are specifically for the 460.
All right. Okay. One more. Last one, I promise. Karen wants to know, how much does the machine weigh?
I do not know the exact number off the top of my head. I would say it's around 30 or so pounds. It is a high quality machine that has a lot of heft. A lot of times with sergers, I think we've all been there where if you put the pedal to the metal, it will jump around on you. This machine won't. So it definitely does have some heft and really anchors itself to the table. So somebody said 28 pounds. So it does
There
have.
you go.
It is definitely nice, a nice weight to the machine.
All right. Well, that is all we've got for now. So take it away.
All right. So one of the things that I definitely wanted to share today that people don't always think about, especially when they think of serging, is they think that, oh, it's only for garment sewing. I'm only going to use it if I'm making t-shirts or working with knit garments. But you can also use it for quilting. So one of the things that I have become to love to do is to do quilt as you go projects on my serger. So this is all quilted. This is a small sample. I'm using jelly roll strips as well as the jelly roll batting that you use to make rugs with. So these are already 2.5-inch strips that you can use to make your rag rugs. So I just use it to do quilting with. And this is a great project, especially for somebody who's just beginning to learn how to use a serger, just so that they can become confident with it. This is using a simple thread pattern. This is just using your 4 thread. And you are using like a 1/4-inch seam allowance, and you can do it all on your serger, and it's super easy, super fun, and super simple. So I want to show you how to kind of get started with that today so that you can make one of these projects in hours. So what I have here is, and literally I like to do this with my scraps. So this one, I like to buy jelly rolls just to say, like, if I feel like sewing and don't have a project in mind, I can always go to some jelly rolls and either do like a jelly roll race or something like that. Now that I've kind of started to do these on a serger, it makes the process go even faster. So these are just strips that I've cut in half just for sample here, but these all came from a jelly roll. So these are 2.5-inch strips. So what we have here is, I will show you kind of how the sandwich all goes together, and then we'll go to the serger. So we take 2 of our strips here. Of course, there we go. always a little bit backwards here. So we have 2 of our strips here and 1 strip of our batting. So what we do is we put the batting in the center. So we make a sandwich here. And I try to even it up, but because it is a quilt as you go, I sometimes cut off a little bit extra if it's not the direction that I want it to go, or if it's a little uneven. I I really enjoy the inspiration of G's Bend, the G's Bend quilters, and how they use a lot of just the graphic angles and stuff in that. So if it is not perfect, I'm okay with that. And I feel that it has more character. And sometimes, literally, mid sewing up something, I will say, like, hey, I decided to change directions. And you can definitely learn how to do that with this. So we have this part of our sandwich together. Next, we take another one of our strips and we put right sides together on one side. And then we take another one of our strips and we put it right sides together on the other. And right behind that, we use another one of our batting strips. So you have 4 layers of fabric and 2 layers of batting here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use a 4-thread overlock, and I will do a 1/4 inch seam, and we will start to kind of show how this all comes together. Okay, so let's go back to our serger here and we can show kind of how this process works. So as you can see, I already have it set up for our 4-thread overlock. Of course, I have a table right next to me that is in the way of my foot, and we'll bring it down here. So here, what I love about this machine, of course, is that it also has the, I want to make sure that my speakers stay where they need to stay. There we go. It also has our seam guide. So this seam guide really helps to make sure that you are getting as accurate a seam as possible, especially if you want a good straight seam. So for when I'm talking about 1/4 inch, what we're looking at is 1/4 inch from our left needle. So I'm looking at this one, and from here to this little mark right there, hopefully you can see that, that means your 1/4 inch. So I always try to make sure that I have the seam guide that comes with your machine near my machine. So it's just something that I always leave there, because I think especially for a lot of people, they're a little nervous about how to get the correct seam measurement when they're using their serger. So having just your seam guide, that's just a small, simple tool that you can use to make sure that you're getting accurate seams. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this under my machine, and of course I'm going to use my knee lever. So one of the great things about the L860 is that it comes with the knee lever. So it just means that it allows for easier hands-free sewing. So you can really focus on keeping your project where you want it, instead of having to focus on kind of trying to lift up the presser foot to make sure everything goes as need be. Okay. So I am working from an angle, so it might not be the nicest way that I'm going to serge, but we will get started here.
Nobody is perfect, Julian. And I think, like you said, I think some of the mishaps give it some character.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
the only person who's going to notice the mistake is you, you know? That's like when you create something, you're your worst critic, you know?
Absolutely. And of course, I'm going to use my little, ooh, just everything wants to fall off of my table behind me. But again, if we want to head back to me over here. Okay. So
AirPod down.
there we go. So once we have that all taken care of, one of the great things about this then is that literally this is just the start of a quilt. Then of course, what I like to do is, of course, if there are any like uneven edges, I go ahead and cut it off and I start from there. So this is literally the easiest way to quilt that I have found. And one of the projects that I've started that I plan to finish up in Serger Month is this one. So you're getting definitely an in-process project here. So this one is using all Pride fabrics. And sometimes they match on both sides, sometimes they don't, depending on how I feel. But one of the great things about this is that I just moved into a new office at work, and I felt like I needed a little color. So I'm going to turn this into a table runner for my back desk that I think will just give it the pop of color that it needs. And as you can see here, I did not start with a square. So this one I started with a rectangle. You can do really any size. You can use bigger pieces of fabric if you have scrap batting. Using pieces of like clothing and stuff like that that really mean a lot to you. So there are so many different ways that you can really explore yourself and make even fabric, especially with the new trend of doing quilted garments with quilts. You can also decide to make the fabric first using your serger before you get started. So that is one of the easiest ways that you can really kind of build confidence and start using your serger easily.
Julian, that was beautiful. I feel
Thank
inspired
you.
right now. Like, can you make
I
needles
tell
and mail it?
then how would you get confident with your serger if I made it for you?
You're right, you're right. I gotta do it myself. I gotta do it
But
myself.
luckily, this is just something super simple and super easy. And then even the binding can be done on your serger as well. So if, once you take your strip, and I'm just going to show here as an example here, once you put your strip here and you just kind of do your simple serger here, and even if you wanted to, you can round the edges to make it easier as you're putting your binding around that way and fold it over, and you can top stitch that down. If you are using, there is something called fusible thread. So if you're using fusible thread in your loopers, that means that literally once you kind of fold it over on the other side, you can use an iron to iron it down so that there's no pinning needed, and then you can top stitch that down. So there are so many different ways that you can really utilize your serger to just make your process as easy and seamless as possible. And then, I feel that now that I've have one, I can't live without it in my sewing space. It's always a constant. Once I turn my sewing machine on, I'm also turning on my serger as well.
All right. Oh, we have a question from Karen. She says, what size needle do you use to quilt that many layers? And question from me, how many layers was that the little table runner you were gonna make? Was that like 4?
So yeah, so it is 4 layers of fabric and it's 2 layers of batting. And I'm using just your
Wow.
regular needle. Just a
Wow.
regular needle is going through that. It just
Nice.
kind of it really talks to the testament of the quality build of the L860 and the L890, L850 sergers, and just kind of the quality that you find in Bernina products. So
You are so right.
you can do this with any serger, but I feel the most confident working with the L860 series when I'm using and using the Bernina products when I'm doing projects like this.
Look, and Nilda says she sews her bathing suit with her serger. So you can do, I feel like, anything.
Absolutely, from all of your garments, from just your undergarments on up. So it's all possible.
It's all there. Oh, we got one
Mhm.
from Carolyn. She wants to know an 11 or 14 needle.
So let me check here, because the way that I know it is by literally looking at the pack of needles that come in your machine. And one of the great things about this machine is that it does have a cubby space that includes all of your tools in the machine. So looking at this is actually, these are two 8012s. So that's what these are coming in. So it comes with, the machine itself comes with the 12 and the 14 size needles. And these are both using the 12 and the upper and the both needles.
Perfect. I think that answers that. And look right here, we have a comment. I'm so glad you're doing this. I don't have a clue about sergers. I'm gonna join that club, the clueless about sergers club. But
I
I
think
love it.
people get a little nervous. It is when you see it working and you see, like, you're seeing the loopers go over and you're seeing all this movement happening, it can be a little intimidating. But especially using the L series of sergers, it does make it so simple. If we can go back to the machine, I would love to show you some of the other features of this machine.
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. So let's look here. One of the things I love about this machine is that, of course, it has your it's kind of like it's a built-in teacher. So let's go here to our mode. So I've been working in expert mode. By expert mode, that means that I kind of know how to set this machine up, and I really don't need any extra guidance on how to do it. But you can do this machine in guided mode. So let's look at that. So once you go to guided mode, everything kind of turns blue. Let's say that we're going to look at another stitch here. So here, looking at all your different stitches, you can go down and look at the many different stitches that are available. One of my favorite stitches is a flat lock stitch. So let's look at the flat lock wide stitch, which is number 5 here. So, and literally, it takes you through all the steps of how to do it. So it tells you to lift your presser foot and scroll to the next step. It tells you what thread paths need to be removed. So here you will be removing your right needle thread path And literally, if you have questions about it, it comes with a short video for this step, literally showing you what to cut here. And once you're done with that video, you can go back to your main page and just keep on moving through all the things. So it shows you what foot to attach. So this is using the number 10 foot, which is your normal foot. So it's already attached there. It tells you how to adjust your presser foot pressure and even giving you some idea of where to go. So the knob to adjust your presser foot pressure is on the top of the machine over the head of it. So, and you just easily move that up top. And you just keep on going. So it shows you the needle position to adjust your make sure your knife is activated and adjusting your cutting width and converting your hook out of your upper looper converter. And it literally goes through all the different pieces. And then it also shows you how to thread. So we'll look at one of these here. So it shows you the threading path using the color coded system that comes with the machine. You just lay it through and you'll hear a little click as you're making sure that it goes between the discs. You'll turn your knob to make sure that you engage your active air thread system. And then you will push on your presser foot or your foot pedal to make sure that it is going through the machine, and it just easily blows through the machine. And one of the great things about this is the way that this machine is set up. You do not have to do thread this machine in a specific order. So even if you're taking off, like if I want to do this stitch right now, I can literally just clip the right needle and easily get to going and not have to basically totally rethread my machine to get started with it.
This, it's like it's holding your hand the whole time while you're doing the project. Like it's literally telling you, okay, do this and now do this. So so you don't mess it up.
Absolutely. And one of also the great things is that when, I think we've all been there where we forget to put down our presser foot or anything like that as we're using our machine, literally it will let you know, like, wait a minute, not everything is where it needs to be before you can get started. So it really does make this a user friendly machine, especially for your beginners. And I think some people will get a little nervous because of that computer that is part of the screen, but it literally makes things so much easier for people. And if you are able to have one as part of your arsenal, I highly suggest it. And this is, of course, the L860. So this is the Serger model, but of course you also have the L890, which also comes with cover stitch. And the way that you convert the machine from Serger to cover stitch is a cinch. And literally, there are videos to teach you how to do that as well.
Yeah, we actually have a comment from Terry. She says just got an 890 and I love being able to lower the speed.
Absolutely. That's another part of this machine that you can also control all on the screen as well. From if you want to head it back over to the screen, I can show some of
Yeah.
those features. So from the screen, of course, one of the things that you can do is you can do needle up or needle down, all from the push of a button. You can also adjust your stitch length. You can also adjust your differential feeds. So if you want to have a more of a wavier pattern or something like that, you can do that all here in your differential feed. Then, of course, you also have your speed. So this machine goes up to 1,500 stitches per minute, but you can easily slow that down here, all the way down to 600 stitches per minute. I'm a speed demon, so I keep mine pretty high and usually regulated by my foot pedal. But it is good to know, especially when you're first getting started or working with youth. This is an easy way that you can use your machine to make sure that it is working the way that you need it to work. Another great feature that I would like to also mention is that let's say that you're working with a totally different fabric. There's also something called the Stitch Consultant. So here you can talk to the machine and tell it what fabric you're using and what kind of finish that you want to have. So let's say that we are using a lightweight knit fabric. So we see that it's noted by something that looks like a knit, but it's also very small. And I'm sorry that my phone is a little glitch or a little slower in speed here. But then it shows you all the different types of stitches that you can choose from. So let's say that we want to choose from just a regular, we'll go for a flat lock here. So it will tell us what needle to use, what type of thread, what presser foot, as well as the stitch that you want to use for this project. And once you hit yes, it literally will go through the process to start to set up the machine to do that stitch for you. And literally we'll go through the guided process to rethread the machine for that stitch.
Julian, look, you've got Carolyn convinced. She says she's going trade in her old serger for this one right here. Look at that. She's convinced.
Especially with the deals that are happening next month, including the Lordstar Lift Iron, which is an amazing iron. I would definitely say that.
Yes.
This is definitely the time to definitely look into a trade in or a trade up.
Yes. And I just want to shameless plug right here. You guys, if you're enjoying all of this, if you're loving all of this content from us right here and from Julian, go ahead and give us a like on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. Julian, go follow Julian on all his platforms. Go, shameless plug yourself. You got to do it.
You can find me literally everywhere at Julian Creates. So that includes Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and even TikTok now. I'm always Julian Creates.
He's on TikTok, you guys. Oh, we've got a question from Sherry. She says, can you do a wave stitch or one that looks like it?
Sure. So let's switch up here. Let's go back to, oops. And one of the also great features is that you also have a style. Oh, okay. There's a camera here somewhere. There we go. There's a stylus here that does make it easier to go up. So since I've already have this, sometimes it's easier for me to use my finger. Nope. There we go. Sometimes you just have to slow down.
It's like when you're at the checkout at the grocery store and you try to use the pen and the pen won't work, so you have to use your finger.
Yes. So let's look at changing your differential feed. So here, this is the screen that you change your differential feed. So that is what creates your wave-like finish. Now, if you have a question about that and a little bit about what that looks, there are also videos here to show you how that all works. So let's look at one of these videos. Here we go. So here it is. You see a small wave with it set at a 0.7. And then once you change that and go up to a 1, you find that it is a more of a just a regular straight stitch here. So let me grab some fabric. And we will play with our differential feed.
Look, everyone's showing you some love. Nelda says, great demonstration, Julian.
Well, thank you so much.
All and right. This is a great, we so much love for that screen, for literally the step-by-step, the holding, literally holds your hand to do while you do the project. Like, what more could you ask for?
Absolutely. So let's say we're going to take this all the way up to like a 1.8, and we will do this. I'm using like a double brush poly here, and I'm going to increase my my stitch width a bit. So I'm just kind of changing where I have my stitch guides. So from a 1/4, we'll take it to about a 1/3, and from just knowing my machine, that 1/3 of an inch or that 3/8, not a 1/3, is literally right here at the edge of this foot. Okay. And of course, I'm also still going to use my knee lever, lift that right up here, get everything underneath there. Okay. If we want to take it back to our main screen here. So here it is a very slight version of a wave. But let's say that you are doing a rolled hem. That's usually where it really shows that you can really turn it up and you can really get that wave. But here you can kind of see that it offered a gather. So one of the places that I really use this is when I am like hemming a circle or hemming a circle skirt. You can turn up your differential feed so that the bottom of your circumference kind of becomes smaller so it can fit up into the other part of your circumference. So this is a great way to use that when you are you want to make sure that you're getting as flat of a hem as possible for like a circle skirt or a tree skirt or something like that. So there are so many different ways that you never fully think about how you can use your differential feed, but this is just one of them. And even like things for like a puff sleeve or a cap sleeve or something like that on a shirt or something. Those are many different ways that you can really kind of utilize the changing your differential feed. If you also go to the Serger School video series, I talk a lot more about that, where I show the rolled hem and even how you can include fishing line to give it a really nice, fun effect.
That is the first place where my brain went. My brain immediately went to like a puff sleeve on a shirt. And I was like, that would be so, so cute on like a dress or just like a blouse. That
Absolutely.
is immediately where my brain
Absolutely.
went. You read my mind. Oh, Karen says, I know we talked a little bit about serging quilts, but have you ever serged a bag? Because that's what Karen wants to do.
So I've done some like a tote I've done on a serger. Um, and even like and I just changed my needles, especially if I'm using a heavier weight canvas. But you know, I've done a little bit of everything. If I've tried, if I could fit it under my serger, I definitely will do that.
Nilda wants to know how many feet come with the serger. I guess you've got the L860. We talked a little bit about the feet earlier, but how many come standard with the machine, if you know off the top of your head?
So I know that of course it comes with your main foot, which is your L10 foot. Beyond that, it takes me a little bit because I got my machine a bit earlier, so everything that comes in the box was a bit different for me. Um, but I want to say, especially like your L10 foot, and maybe like it's a clear foot. But do not quote me on that. Let me. I always try to make sure that I have my notes here, so let me check on that for you.
And a
Let me see.
question while you're answering that, this one you should know. Does it come with an extension table?
Absolutely. So it comes with an extension table because this is a free arm machine. So you can use this as a free arm machine. The way that I currently have it set up now, let me see if I can show you from my main screen, is with the extension table on it. So you can easily take that off. It literally comes off with the pull of a switch, like a lever underneath the table, and you can put on a cuff if you just want it to be just a serger without the extension, or you can use it as a free arm as well.
And just to touch back, you talked about that video from Serger School. Which one was it again? I'll try to link it
So,
in the comments.
so Serger School, that is with So News magazine. They did a whole series of on that with Serger School. So it is there on YouTube. Literally, you could type in Serger School and you can see my face, usually in a rainbow color. That's how you know it's me.
Yes, I literally first thing I saw was your face. I
And it's
will
a set of
plug
three
that in the
videos.
chat.
So there you have your rolled hem. So that really shows your wave hem. It is easier there just because I don't have the fabric that I normally use to, excuse me, to show a wave at this moment. I do have a piece of it where I do show like just your regular rolled hem, but I don't have it where I had the differential feed set up for that. And I'm a little bit out of that fabric and not set up on my machine just yet for that. Um, but that's a great way to learn from it there. And it also shows it on like a very light, like high key knit. So the very like soft sweater knit so that you can show how it can be used there. It also shows you how to do the blind hem on your serger, as well as some other hem finishes just using your serger. That kind of mimics some of the things that you can do on a cover stitch. So somebody asked for bulkier seams like the quilt. Do you
Yes.
adjust the pressure foot pressure? Normally, I do not. So I have found, because this is yes, it is a lot going under the machine, but it does have a higher height. I haven't had any issues with it, especially making sure that I am kind of going through the machine with this bottom layer of batting on the bottom. That is really where I found it to be easiest, and I really haven't had to adjust anything, and it goes through easily. But of course, everybody's experience can be a little bit different. So you might want to kind of lessen that pressure just a tad bit. But for me, I kind of like it where it is at its normal rate.
All right, lots of good stuff here. And Shelly, I just linked in the comments. Julian was talking about Serger School on the So Daily Network channel. You can find the specific video he was talking about there. But we also here at AllBrands, every Thursday, we have the AllBrands show. And you'll find us here every Thursday at 3:30 Central Time. You can learn a whole bunch of stuff from us. Literally, I mean, I feel like I learned so much just today. Cynthia, I think that was her. She's going get a serger. She's already in. So this has just been such an amazing show. And you are so talented, Julian. You've got tons and tons of knowledge. It's amazing.
Well, thank you so much. And of course, if anybody ever has any questions or need somebody to give them a good recommendation and vouch for the serger, please feel free to reach out to me. I talk to any and everyone. So I love to make new friends and meet new people. So feel free to reach out at all of my social media at Julian Creates. I would definitely tell you about the serger if you have questions. I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Yes, somebody asked about the total number of stitches. There are 18 stitches on the L860. That includes your 2-thread stitches, your 3-thread, and your 4-thread. So it really does give you some different fun options with your machine. From just your regular, you can do all different types of stitches, from like your regular construction stitches to even some of your decorative ones, such as your flat locks. And I like to use both sides of my flat lock. So sometimes it will be more where it looks like something that you got off of a cover stitch. Other times I like the latter, and that gives it a definitely a different quality. Reminds me of something that is almost hand sewn that you
Yeah.
would find on a cartoon character. So I love to use both of them.
No, that's awesome though. Oh, and you guys, before we end the show, I want to give you a little bit more time to get those comments in. Hashtag AllBrands if you want to win that. If you want to win that gift card, you can go and buy yourself some feet. Put that money towards your feet. Get all of that. Get your comments in. I'll give you a couple more minutes to bring that back. But I also want to bring back up what I mentioned at the beginning. If you tuned in late, that's all right. We talked about a little bit at the beginning. We had the National Serger Month, the limited time financing from BERNINA from April 8th to the 19th. So that's next week. Is that next week? I still can't get over the fact that April is literally tomorrow.
Time has really just kind of sped past us.
Yes, it really has. And we've got 0% interest for 24 months on purchases of $999. Every time I say that, I feel like the Haunted Mansion when they say 999 happy haunts in the Haunted Mansion. That's a very niche Disney adult content. I don't know if any of you would understand, but I think I'm a little bit of a Disney adult. And then we've got 0% interest for 48 months on purchases of $2,000 or more. And then the last one here, we've got the free gifts, you guys. If you purchase any L8 series serger from BERNINA, preferably from AllBrands if you can, you'll receive the Laura Star Lift, the Overlocker suitcase, and the Big Book of Serging. So not only on top of the fact that the machine will literally tell you how to do everything for you, you'll even get that Big Book of Serging that comes with even more knowledge on what to do. So if you're feeling a little clueless like me, don't be afraid. BERNINA's got you covered.
And literally the Big Book of Serging, that's kind of how I learned a lot of the stuff I know. So anybody can learn as much as I know. Literally, that book has helped me in videos, especially going on BERNINA.com and using the BERNINA YouTube, not only the US version, but also the international version. There is just a wealth of knowledge on all of their different projects. And somebody asked about what the Laura Star Lift is. You want me to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, go ahead.
So one of the great things is I'm also a Laura Star ambassador. So Laura Star is an ironing system out of Switzerland. So it really is that kind of connectional brand with Bernina, and it is really made for quality. One of the great things about this machine is the steam, and it uses microfine steam. So literally, you can use your arm and kind of, if it's not touching fabric, it's not hot on your hand, but literally once you put it on fabric, it offers just such a great crisp pressing tool. So what I really say to everyone is that you really want a quality iron to go along with any sewing or serger product that you ever buy. It really just kind of helps elevate all your projects. Because I think even us when we make t-shirts, people just don't think about the whole needing to press it afterwards. But it really helps to elevate your project. And one of the great things about the Laura Star product is that it really is built to end functional obsolescence. So that is a product that they really stand behind and offers a 10-year warranty, not something that you normally see on an iron. So definitely something to check out. I think it's a great product as well. I have the Smart Eye Iron. So mine comes with the board that offers vacuum or blowing as well, which is lovely. So definitely something to check out if you're interested in a new ironing system.
Yes, I even said at the beginning that I really want the Iggy. I really want that Laura Star Iggy. It's just perfect size, good steam, hygienic steam. It's just boom, one and done.
And
It's
that
perfect.
that hygienic thing, especially like if you are going out into the world, and we're about cold season, allergy season, and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that,
I got
and want
allergies right
to
now.
like freshen up a garment instead of taking it to the dry cleaner to start with. That's a great way to do it because it kills just your allergens, it kills your dust and your mold and pollen and stuff like that. It really helps get rid of all of that.
Yep. And look, our very own Barbara Douthit wants to know, what do you use for cover hem?
So for cover hem, what I do, let's see if I can show you. So I do have a cover stitch machine right here. This is the Bernina B42 that I actually purchased from AllBrands. So not only here just because of this great store, I'm also a customer. I
Shameless
love that
plug.
I love the fact that AllBrands ships a lot of their different products, especially Bernina and Burnett products, and I cannot speak more highly about Burnett as well. I think the whole line of Bernina, Burnett, and Laura Star products are definitely something that you really can't go wrong with. So my room was filled. Now, one thing I will say about me as a fun fact, I love gadgets. I love sewing machines. I own around 42 of them. Uh, the most I own from any brand is Bernina. I think I own it might be nine Bernina machines. But I own from different brands, and really I always come back to Bernina. I always come back to Burnett, just for the quality that they offer me, and they just work the way that I like to work and sew the way I like them to sew. So
It's that good Swiss engineering right there. That's all. That's what it
absolutely,
is. They found the magic that makes it just right.
absolutely.
All right, you guys. So I think we've prolonged enough. I think you got your comments in. So let's go ahead and pick a winner for the $50 AllBrands e-gift card. Are you guys ready? Ooh, let's see who wins. Oh, let's go, let's go, let's go. Karen Carr, you have been very active in the chat today, and look at that. Your hard work pays off. You just won a $50 AllBrands e-gift card. So go ahead and email us at events@allbrands.com with your name, your address, your email address, and your phone number so we can get that e-gift card out to you so you can go and buy some feet, girl. Get it?
Congratulations. I hope you enjoy your gift card and really, utilize it to purchase more feet and accessories to help with your
Yes.
sewing.
All right, Julian, thank you so much for being on the show. We have loved having you. You've been such an amazing teacher here today. Maybe we'll have you back again to teach a little bit more. I think everybody loved you.
Well, thank you so much, and I would love to come back and share more of my knowledge, even not only on the serger but also on the machine, and even some of my menswear sewing. So feel free, and if you have anybody has questions, Again, Julian Creates is where you can find me on all social media platforms. If you want to even talk about menswear sewing specifically, or masculine wear sewing, I also have a Facebook group called So Manly. So feel free to
Oh,
join us. All are welcome there. We focus on menswear and masculine inspired fashion.
that's
Lack of
awesome.
coffee, losing my tongue a little bit.
Time for a nap. We're cutting it. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for watching the AllBrands show today. I am Jordan. That is
I'm
Julian.
Julian.
And it has been an amazing show. We will see you here next week at 3:30 Central. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.